How is everybody doing? Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. Welcome to the stream, everyone. It's great to be here on this Saturday. It's been a very eventful Saturday. I last went live on Thursday and I told you guys that I believed a war was imminent between the US and Iran. At the time, Polymarket was still giving it a less than likely chance, but that has actually come into fruition now, and we officially have a conflict between the US and Iran. Multiple countries within the Gulf have been hit, the UAE being one of them. I personally heard multiple explosions myself today. I would say maybe 4, maybe 5 explosions I've heard in and around where I've been. And yeah, it's the first time I've ever heard an explosion, first time I've ever seen a missile in the sky. But I guess that's the new normal now. That's the situation that we're in the world. So obviously I wanted to let everyone know that I'm fine. Nothing has happened to anyone I know. And yep, some of the videos and some of the things I'm seeing aren't very good, but it seems like the situation is under control at the moment. But I'm here to talk about the market. I'm here to talk about the situation and where I see it going in the coming days and weeks. And I'm here to answer everyone's questions as well. For those of you who thought I would take the day off today because of what's gone on, you're absolutely wrong. I show up no matter what. Could literally be a war zone and I would still be going live because we have a duty, we have a thing that we need to do, which is to talk about the markets, and we do that regardless. If I'm sick, if there's a war going on, if there's explosions going off behind me, doesn't matter. We're showing up, we're going live because we have things that we need to get on with. So this is relatively new news. It seems like the supreme leader of Iran, Khamenei, it seems like he's dead, okay? It seems like that is the case. Polymarket is giving a 97% chance that he is out as leader in the next few days, or it's confirmed. And Israel just came out and said that he is dead, and his body has been found under the rubble. Therefore, there is potentially going to be a bit of a question now: who's going to replace him? Who's going to be next? And maybe the next person's going to be even more radical. Maybe there's now going to be a bit of infighting within the country. There's going to be a power vacuum. So it just creates this whole situation now that doesn't necessarily fully settle things, right? Some people are saying that if he's ousted, then that's the end of the war. The US and Israel can claim victory. Other people are saying that if he is ousted, you will maybe have someone in power who's even more radical and more on the extreme side. So I guess time's going to tell what's going to happen, but we're here today to specifically talk about the ramifications on markets and the crypto market in particular, because we are a crypto channel after all. And, getting things started, I'm pretty impressed with the way that Bitcoin has actually responded to this. We had an initial dump as expected, but I don't even think you could call it a flash crash. I don't even think you could call it a black swan, a flash crash. I mean, this was literally a move down of a few percent. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. This is very normal for Bitcoin. We see this every Sunday, right? This kind of crash or dump. I don't even think you can call it a crash. We then kind of went into this ascending channel, and it seems like we're actually breaking out to the upside. We're now actually above the price levels before this conflict really began. So in terms of Bitcoin price action, it's a nothing burger. In terms of the actual real world, what's going on right now, it is quite significant, okay? Things are quite significant. There have been quite a lot of casualties in Iran. No US soldiers have died, according to the news. But the response from Iran this time around was much more serious, I would say, compared to what we saw in June last year. Last year, they alerted Qatar beforehand, I'm pretty sure, and they just sent over a few drones, and it was really a nothing burger. The US literally evacuated the base beforehand, and it was really nothing. This time around, the approach is very different. What they are doing is trying to put pressure on the Gulf nations. That is what Iran are trying to do right now, from my perspective. They're trying to put pressure on the Gulf nations. They're trying to get the Gulf nations to bow down and to stand against the US in this conflict. Because for those of you who don't know, a lot of these Middle Eastern countries in the Gulf are very pro-US. They're very strong with their alliances to America. And you saw that when Trump went on his tour around the Middle East, right? He met with a lot of the world leaders in this region. They gave him gifts, and they were very amicable with each other. So most of the Middle East is actually very US friendly. Iran is that one country that is kind of in opposition to this, to this trend. Besides, obviously, Afghanistan and these tiny countries with not much power, Iran is the last one left that kind of actively opposes the US. So I guess what they're trying to do right now, Iran, is to put pressure on the Gulf countries, try and get them to just stay out of it, and to put pressure on the US to actually end this conflict. So time's going to tell. I think one trend I'm seeing is a lot of people are underestimating how long Iran could actually sustain this conflict. You've got to bear in mind that the US, the president relies on the will of the people. The president relies on the popularity of the people. And if Trump finds himself still in a war come November, come the midterms, the Republicans are going to get smashed. There's no... It's not about being political. This is just objective facts. If the US are still involved in a war come November, the likelihood of them succeeding, the Republicans, in the midterms is very, very low. So it is not within the interest of Trump on a political level, to have a sustained conflict. They want to get the job done quick. They want it to be over and done with. So Iran, on the other hand, they can maybe allow it to be a little bit more drawn out because they don't have elections. They can put the country under martial law. They can take the internet off for people. They have much more freedom in that sense in terms of duration, whereas the US, they are very time constrained. Also, you've got to mention about Congress. Trump will need at some point approval from Congress if this continues. So time isn't necessarily time isn't necessarily on Trump's hand or on his side. Time is very much of the essence. So it's going to be interesting to see what plays out here, but I'm liking what Bitcoin's doing. I've got to be honest. Bitcoin's holding up really, really well considering everything that's going on. And that really proves my point that the sellers are exhausted, guys. I've been saying this on every single live stream. I said it on the last live stream that this is going to be a major trap. The situation that's going on right now is going to be a trap. They're going to try and get you to sell at the bottom, and then you're going to FOMO back in at higher prices. I said that on Thursday. I said a major trap was coming. That was the title of the video. And I said that it will be all to do with Iran and the US. I had not insider information, but I knew this was going to happen. It doesn't take a genius. You just have to do some research, understand the way Trump was, understand the kind of body language and the way he was answering questions, and you could see it was obvious. They already made their decision to go into Iran. This was already made a long time ago, in my opinion. But look at what Bitcoin's doing. Closing in now at 66,500 after finding a low down here at 63,000. We're going to get into altcoins. We're going to get into your questions. This could be quite a long live stream because we have a lot to unpack, a lot to discuss. But Bitcoin's holding up well. You know, one of the reasons as well why they do this on the weekend is to prevent a major shock to the system with the stock market. If they did this on a Monday morning, could you imagine what the stock market would do? It would be one of the worst days in stock market history if they did this on a Monday morning. So the reason they do it on the weekend is to give the market more time to process it, more time to absorb it, so that it's not a major flash crash come Monday morning. It's going to be more of a regular crash. Not a flash crash, not a crazy crash, but more of just a regular move down because the market has time to actually process it. Because we know how markets respond to news. They respond on impulse, they respond very quickly with fear, and they can dump a lot lower than what people think based off these news events if the market is actually open. So we've got a few news things to go over before we really dive into the altcoin charts and the chat. But the Strait of Hormuz was effectively closed. So oil prices have jumped significantly. And by the way, for those who don't know, the Strait of Hormuz is key when it comes to oil. And the interesting thing about this is the relationship between the US and Iran, but also, even more importantly, the relationship between Iran and China. That is the relationship which I find very interesting, especially when it comes to oil. So when it comes to oil, it is actually more of a hindrance to China if Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz because of the fact that China rely on some oil from that region. So if Iran go and close the Strait of Hormuz, it's more of a hindrance to China than it is to the US, especially with the US now controlling Venezuela. So it's like shooting themselves in the foot. They're just pissing off their ally, in a sense, if they do that. So the Strait of Hormuz being closed really is a last resort from Iran because they know that that will cause relationship damages to their allies in a time when they really need allies because they're being isolated at the moment in the region. So that's something to also think about, is how China will react to the Strait of Hormuz being closed. But guys, honestly, Bitcoin is looking fine. It's looking absolutely fine considering this news. Unless things get really out of hand and drastically escalate, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't end up going really, really low. I said that there's still a good chance that we make a slight lower low. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's a lot pointing towards the low to mid 50,000 region. You've got a golden pocket there. The 200-week moving average is just above 55,000. You've got the support of this major channel that we've been in for years. There's a lot pointing to kind of 53, 55K, that kind of region. But there was a lot pointing to $10,000 and $13,000 in 2022. So even though there is still a solid chance Bitcoin could end up coming lower to the lows of this range, I'm still buying. I'm buying the dip because anyone with any sense can tell that we are in a macro oversold range. That doesn't necessarily mean 100% guaranteed that the bottom is in, but that means that we are in a macro oversold range, therefore prices are cheap, and in 1 to 2 years, there's a highly likely chance that Bitcoin is significantly higher and probably even at a new all-time high. So buying at these prices to me is a very smart thing to be doing. You don't have to go all in and jump right into the deep end, but at least get your feet wet. That's all I'm saying. At least get your feet wet. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but I'm just saying what I'm doing. I am buying these dips. I bought certain altcoins. Obviously, I alerted my VIP members the moment I bought those specific altcoins. I'm not going to mention on the stream exactly what I bought, but I am buying. I'm buying the dip because I know that war events typically do end up marking bottoms. We saw it with Russia-Ukraine. That situation unfolded, and we had an initial shock reaction from the market, which is expected, and then shortly after, the market was absolutely exploding. That was back in 2022. So, certainly interesting stuff indeed. Let's see if we've got any updates on what is going on. So, senior Israeli official, this is just before I went live, to Reuters, said, Khomeini dead, his body has been found. So, it's pretty much seems like a fact now that the Iranian supreme leader has in fact died, or being killed rather. So if that is the case, that is a very significant development with this situation. If we look at Polymarket here, it is giving, wow, it's giving a 95% chance that today it is announced that the supreme leader is no longer in power. So that is a huge development. I want to know you guys' thoughts. What do you think about this? If the Supreme Leader's dead, which it seems like he is, who is to replace him? Will that person be more US friendly, or will that person be more opposed to the US? Because after all, their leader's just been killed, right? If you're the second in command, you are pissed right now. You're not in a good headspace, I would imagine. So what is the reaction going to be from Iran? That's the thing that I'm very curious to see. But it's been a crazy day, guys. It really has. It's been insane. It's been an insane day. And as I said, you know, some people were saying, Archie, you don't need to go live today. I know you've heard a lot of bombs go off, and it's maybe been a little bit unsettling. But guys, we've got to go live. We've got to go live. We've got to discuss it. It's very important. And we'll see. If anything goes off behind me, I'll let you guys know. But I haven't heard any loud bangs in quite a few hours. It's been some time since I heard anything. The UAE were very effective, actually, in taking down the drones that were in the air. So it was just the debris that kind of hit people, I think. So, yeah, across the board, guys, we're seeing a bit of a pump with the market in the last hour. Bitcoin is seeing a nice bounce, actually. It's above the prices we were before the conflict broke out. So that's quite impressive. And this is always what it's like with wars. Have you guys not learnt your lesson yet? Like, there's a couple guys in the Discord saying, bro, why would we buy now? Why would we buy now? It's bad news coming out. The world seems like it's ending. Why would we buy now? That's always how it feels during a bottom. That is always how it feels during a bottom. It always feels like the world is ending. It always feels like Bitcoin is dead. It feels like World War III is going to happen. It feels like the economy is going to collapse. That's how it always feels during a bottom. That's the point. If it was obvious that it was a bottom, everyone would buy. It's only later on that you realize, oh yeah, that was actually max pain. That was actually the bottom. Only retrospectively you realize that. So I just found it very weird how people were saying that, why would you buy now? Why would you buy now? There's bad news happening. It could get worse. It could always get worse. At every single major bottom I've ever experienced in crypto, there's always been the argument that something else will come next. During 2022, when FTX collapsed, do you know what everyone was saying would be next? Crypto.com. That's what people were saying would be next. They said after FTX collapses, Crypto.com will be the next one to go under. It never happened. It was all FUD. So there's always a next one. There's always something else that could cause a crash. Eventually, the market learns to price it in. The market gets mature to it. It moves on, and we start heading back up again. But it seems like Bitcoin is actually liking the fact that the supreme leader is potentially deceased. And you know, guys, I've been on the voice chat with my VIP members all day. All day I've been on the voice chat for like 7 hours maybe, talking about this whole situation. And as I was on the voice chat, I was in a cafe. You know, people was the government of the UK said shelter in your homes and all of this. I went to the cafe. I enjoyed a coffee. I enjoyed a steak and eggs. And I just got by like a normal day. I'm not going to let things put me in a feared state. I'll never be in a state of fear. But as I was in the cafe, we were on a voice chat, and I was talking to the members, and basically, we saw the odds on Polymarket absolutely skyrocket. They were spiking drastically in favor of the supreme leader being ousted in the next few days. And this kind of happened very quickly. Within a period of about 10 minutes, it went from like a 40% chance up to like a 75% chance within a period of 10 minutes. So maybe there's some insider trading, I don't know, but big players seem to figure out that he's dead somehow, and big bids were getting made in the direction of him being ousted. So I find that kind of crazy. If we look at Polymarket here, you can see right now there's a 96% chance that he's out as leader by March 31st, that is. And by Feb 28th, there's a 94% chance that he is ousted. So it seems like a guarantee now. It's only a matter of time before it is officially announced. But it seems like that's what's happening. The question is, where does that then take the conflict? It's all happened a lot quicker than expected, even for me, and I thought it would escalate quite a lot, but I didn't expect it to escalate this quick, where the leader would literally be ousted on day one of the war. And by ousted, I mean killed, right? That's a drastic escalation. And it was just happening so quick, it's hard to process when things are escalating that quick, right? Happens before you can even process it. Ben Shaw with a $2 donation says, thoughts on Power Protocol and Siren coins? We're not going to go too much into deep diving into coins today, bro, just because of the situation that's going on. We don't have all the time in the world to be researching loads of different projects. But this chart looks kind of risky to jump in on right now. Could have a potential double top. Binance Alpha. Yeah, man, just hold it with me. I'll look into these a little bit later on in the stream, maybe. But since we've just started, I think it's important to focus on what's going on with the conflict and how it's affecting Bitcoin and the big altcoins in particular. So I'll keep this up as a tab, and if I get the chance, I'll look into it a little bit later on in the live stream. Archie, you were spot on about this war. Props to you. Yeah, I feel kind of bad saying I called it, you know, because it's a war. You don't want to be happy about calling a war. Like, it's probably one of the most unhappy things to be right about. But yeah, I did do an entire live stream dedicated to this topic a couple days ago, saying that I believed that a war was imminent and that it would be a bit of a trap, and it seems like that is what's played out. Let's go through some of your comments, guys. Let's see what you guys are saying. What's everyone thinking? Did you enjoy your steak and eggs this morning? Of course, bro. Gotta love the steak and eggs. None of this vegan stuff, man. Scary stuff, Archie. Keep safe and well over there. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate all the wishes, by the way, guys. I do. It means a lot. It's always on a Friday night to allow markets to digest it. I believe you suggested Sunday or Monday last live stream. I suspect the dip will happen. I'm guessing stocks drop Monday, crypto next. Yeah, so they typically do it when markets are closed, right? Like you said, to absorb the impact, to make it not as bad for the stock market. But the stock market will still have to price this in on Monday because it's got no trading going on at the weekend. So come Monday, the market will have to absorb it, and it will have to make a decision as to where we're going. And that's really where I'm expecting a lot of volatility, is Monday. And if the situation escalates by Monday, then it's probably not going to be good for the stock market, and Bitcoin could suffer as a result. So let's just see if we've got any updates. I want to give a shout out to this guy. He gives very good updates. Walter. So this is just in. US official, Iran refused to negotiate on ballistic missiles. Iran says they wanted enrichment for civil purposes. The US offered to provide Iran with free nuclear fuel forever, but Iran insisted on enrichment capacity, okay, or capability. So Iran were not budging, you know? They wanted a nuke. The US didn't want them to, and I guess they have to fight it out as a result. And innocent people have to die as a result, which is unfortunate. So, senior Israeli officials said Khamenei is dead, his body has been found, but we haven't had full confirmation from that as far as I'm aware. We haven't had like a major news outlet confirm that just yet. Oh, Israeli... Yeah, so it's just Israeli state media saying that so far. I don't think mainstream media has actually confirmed it, but it seems like he's dead. I mean, Netanyahu said he's dead. Polymarket is now giving it a 97% chance that he's dead. Everyone pretty much across X is saying that he has died. So, crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff how that happens on day one. So let's go through some of the comments. What is everybody thinking? We've got a lot of people in the stream. Please smash up the likes. Hit up the likes on the stream. Let's try and get as many likes as possible. By the Fear says get. It says get buff. Hit the thumbs up if you're watching. It costs nothing but a click. Exactly. Let's get the likes up. Monday is the major test when markets open, especially oil prices. Yeah, if that Strait of Hormuz is closed, I'm expecting oil prices to absolutely skyrocket. I think it's going to be insane. Yeah, Supreme Leader reportedly killed. Still waiting for like a major news outlet to confirm it, but seems like he's killed. All the data from the last few weeks are pointing to a big slowdown and a recession. Yeah, but the problem is when a recession is called, you've already been in one, right? By the time a recession is announced, you've already been in one and the worst is behind you. That's the problem. Like, we might already be in a recession now and it's just going to take some time before we actually have an announcement or it gets figured out. So I always find, like, when people start talking about recession, typically it's close to the bottom, like 8 times out of 10. Did you guys see Netflix as well? I wanted to mention that. Netflix went crazy. Did anyone see what happened to Netflix stock? Because of the whole Paramount, Warner Bros. Type of thing. I'm actually an investor in Netflix, and I told the VIPs about it before I got in, obviously. Look at that. Major green candle on Netflix. Let me know in the chat, did you buy the dip? Yes or no? Would you recommend stockpiling on petrol? I mean, I don't know, man. Probably it's a good idea to fill your tank up and buy some if you can. I mean, it depends how price sensitive you are, how much it affects you. I bought the dip of Bitcoin, Solana, Chainlink, XPL, Zbic, XCN, Sui. Everything is up. I expect a bigger dip on Monday or Tuesday after stocks correct. Yeah, so it all just depends on the extent and the extremity of the stock market correction on Monday. Time's going to tell. And it all depends as well what the situation is here with Khamenei. As it seems like he's dead, who's going to replace him? And will that person be a madman, right? Because if that person is angry, which you would expect them to be, I mean, the leader of the country's just died. I think he was aged 86. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's been in power for a long time. If that leader is in fact dead, the next guy might be even more hardline, right? That's what people aren't thinking about. Is the next guy could be even more of a anti-US person. Who's to say he's going to be super US friendly unless it's obviously a person who's been put in by the US, unless they install someone. So Bitcoin breaking out a bit here, looking quite good. Tim says added to some of the bundle picks along with one other. Nice, man. Good to see you buying the dips. Nelson bought the dip. Good to hear. Z-Real says bought yesterday when Bitcoin was at 63k. Nice. Ricky says, damn, Ayatollah is dead. Yeah, it seems like it. Pretty crazy if you ask me. How quick it's all escalated. We'll continue to update you if anything comes out. But the leader's personal residence was obliterated. I believe they dropped 30 bombs on his personal residence. I think family members were killed as well. Iran were denying that he died. All day they've been denying it. But I think he was supposed to address the nation. He was supposed to speak. And I don't think it happened, right? So seems like it's the case. I mean, Israelis have said his body was found under the rubble and that Netanyahu has seen video evidence of it. So pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. Bitcoin's liking that news, though. Bitcoin is certainly liking that news. Maybe Bitcoin thinks that the conflict is over now. Is that victory for the US and Israel? Or are they getting this wrong? Are they being a little bit naive and maybe the conflict's going to get a whole lot worse because of the next person in power? I'm just speculating. I truly don't know. I mean, no one knows, right? We're all just retail investors. None of us are in the war room with these leaders. So we don't know, but we'll find out. Either way, I think Bitcoin, when it's cheap, should be bought. And I believe anywhere around the 200-week moving average is cheap. So buying Bitcoin and buying alts around the 200-week moving average, in my opinion, is a very sensible move. Very sensible. It's been proven to work time and time again. Buy at the 200-week moving average and then sell on the way up. And then when we lose the 50, sell the remains. That's your cutoff point. That's your invalidation point. We stuck to that strategy very effectively in the last bull run, and we managed to walk away with some good profits, whereas most people just round-tripped all the way back down. We did have a cutoff point. Oh, so Fox News have now confirmed that he's dead. Okay. Let's just see if we can pull that up. Fox News. Oh, yeah, 6 minutes ago. Seven minutes ago. Breaking, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, confirmed dead after Israeli strike. Wow. What's next? That's the question. What is next? Because I know everyone has their biases, everyone has their opinions. This isn't a political channel. This is an investing channel. But if you put your mind into the mind of these Iranian leaders, right now they are probably super angry. And when someone's super angry and their regime is under threat, you don't know what they're going to do. If they did have a nuke, would they drop it under these circumstances? So this is Fox News. They've pinned it. So highly doubt Fox News would report that he's died if it was completely false and fabricated. So it seems to just be official now that he is out. He is gone. And to me, there's more questions than answers as a result of this. I don't think this really reassures me too much. I know Bitcoin's liking this and it's rallying as a result of it, but I'm not so sure that it reassures me. I keep asking you guys, what do you think? But no one's really giving me their opinion. What is next from here? What is next from here? Fox is reporting BB saw the footage of the body. Yeah, apparently he saw the footage. Lots happened, man, over the last 12 to 24 hours. So let's see what some of the alts are doing. So Ethereum 1.9k, we wick down to the support here, printing a bit of a doji candle on the weekly. Indecision candle on Ethereum. Doji candle on Ethereum. Doji candle on Solana. So all indecision candles, which makes sense because it's a very uncertain week so far. Wow, Say is a good buy here, man. Look at that. I mean, it could be breaking down here, but maybe it manages to get back up in the next 24 hours. This should be easy with Iran. I don't know if it's as easy as some people are saying. I mean, it's a very big landmass. They've got a lot of people in the army. They have a lot of drones. Certainly not the same as Venezuela, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with you, Fetcho. It's not anything like Venezuela. Iran is more capable. So I think there's a stronger retaliation. For sure, for sure. I mean, their leader was just killed. So I kind of would be heavily surprised if there is no strong retaliation in the next 24 hours. I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. I can't even begin to imagine. But they seem to have an obsession with Dubai for some reason. They kept striking Dubai. Like, what are they doing? What are they playing at? Striking Dubai constantly. I think they were striking Dubai more than Israel for some reason. And it all comes down to this thing of trying to put pressure on the Gulf countries. Because they know Israel has the Iron Dome and I'm not really going to gain much from striking Israel. But if they can strike the Gulf countries, then they're probably thinking, oh, we can put some pressure on them. We can try and come to the table. But I don't know if it worked. No, I don't do prediction markets, Ricky. I look at them, but I don't actually bet on them. But I think I'd be very good at it, but I don't do it. I think I'd be incredibly good at it, especially the political ones, because my political knowledge is insane. I studied politics at college, and I just got the best score on every single test. I was by far the best at it. So I should probably do it, but I just don't. I haven't got around to it. Because I would have betted on this. And I would have got a good payout today. So, will Iran strike Israel in March? Bro, what is this? Oh, in March. So, 94% chance they strike Israel, 75% chance they strike the UAE. Man, this is a super low volume one, so I don't think this is trustworthy. Yeah, so maybe a Gulf state will retaliate. Maybe there's going to be some retaliation from a Gulf state. Because their countries were hit, right? This is the problem with war. You have one country attack, then the other feels the need to retaliate, then the other feels the need to do a retaliation to the retaliation, and it's just this constant freaking back and forth. It's just ridiculous. You should do it, bro. It's easy money. That's why it's addicting. So let's check what Bitcoin's doing. Wow, Bitcoin's pushing up. So Bitcoin's really liking the fact that the leader has been killed. It seems to really like that certainty. But to me, it creates a lot more uncertainty. That's the way I'm seeing it. But Bitcoin seems to like it. For any of you just joining, the supreme leader of Iran seems to have been killed from a strike by Israel. So that is breaking news, and that is major, major news. Really big news. Yeah, I don't think this is exactly the same as Venezuela with respect. But I mean, with Venezuela, they arrested the leader. This time, they've killed the leader. But I guess this time it was Israel. So where's Bitcoin now? 66,970. And this is why you just buy the fear, guys. You don't overcomplicate things. You don't try and play God. You don't try and have a crystal ball. You buy the fear. When we're near the 200-week moving average, you buy the fear. You buy the dip. Don't stress it. Don't try and time it based off the news events. That never ends well. I've very rarely seen people pull off timing Bitcoin based off news events trading. Very rarely. Because you always think something else is going to happen, and then it doesn't. And then the market rallies. Or that thing does happen, and the market becomes numb to it. It's already priced it in. And I think a decent chunk of this pain has already been priced in. And that's why my entire title of my last video was, this is a trap. There's a big trap coming. And this, for me, was the trap, which was the US and Iran having a conflict. But there's definitely going to be more to this. The story's not over. But really, really crazy stuff, guys. Really, really crazy stuff. So what percentage of you guys are you... So what percentage are you guys invested in the market? That's what I was trying to say. What percentage is everyone invested? I've personally invested about 80% of my stables into the market. So 80% crypto, 20% stables at the moment. What percentage is everyone else? Zelvesa is about 90% in the market, and it will continue to DCA at these levels. If it goes lower, so what? Bitcoin will go much higher in a year. Stay safe, Archie. I appreciate the kindness, and I agree. If it goes lower, just buy more. It'll only be lower temporarily. It's not going to be long term. It'll be a very short term period that it goes lower. If we do go down to 50k or 55k, it'll be short lived. It's not going to be for the whole year. So I'm in complete agreement. Zreal is 78% invested. ATM is 20% invested. Carito is 50%. Kevin is 90%. XXP says, not got stables. I'll just DCA until the end of the bear market. So you're just using your income to buy more. That's a decent strategy. Dave says retaliation on the blood moon date. Man, these moons have been super spot on historically, these blood moons. So we're gonna wrap up the stream here. I do appreciate everyone joining. I just wanted to go live to say that I believe that buying the fear is the right move. Pretty crazy day for most people in Dubai. Here in 5, maybe 6 bombs go off, or just loud bangs. But I'm pretty sure all of them or most of them were intercepted. So obviously props to the government for being able to bring them down. But yeah, pretty crazy day. We move on, we move forward, and Bitcoin seems to really be liking the news that the supreme leader has died. So $67,000 Bitcoin. We were at lows of 63,000 earlier on today. So big bounce from Bitcoin. Let's see what's to come, guys. I'll continue to cover this. I'll continue to do daily live streams. I'll continue to be in the VIP voice chats for most of the day when we're getting all of this news coming in, and I'll continue to report it to you guys instantly within the VIP Discord. I highly recommend you guys join the group. There is a link down below. Also, make sure to get Blowfin. There is a link down below to Blowfin as well. That is the exchange which I personally trade on. I really like it. And if you use my link in the description, you'll get exclusive potential sign-up rewards if you use my link down below. That is my link to Blowfin in the description. If you deposit some USDT, you can potentially get some nice rewards added into your account just for trading, just for depositing the money and trading as you usually would on any exchange. Appreciate everyone watching the stream. I'll see all of you who are members over in the Discord. I might join the voice chat a little bit later if things start to go off again. But in the meantime, hope everyone has a great rest of their Saturday. It's Sunday now for me. It's past midnight, so I better get some rest.